Hi guys, it's Erica, and today I'm going to attempt to help you understand Bleak House, and I might be attempting to help myself understand Bleak House in this video, so just bear with me. This is Bleak House by Charles Dickens. I'm on page 600 out of like 1,000 pages, so obviously I'm not going to be really reviewing this today. If you want to try to attempt to read Bleak House, which is the hardest novel I think I have ever read, if you want to attempt this, I'm going to kind of help give you some little guide points that if you know this going into the book, it might make it easier to read because it has made it easier for me to read. First, what you need to know is Charles Dickens as an author is messing with you. You just need to know that. He is constantly going to be messing with his reader. He wants you to be uncomfortable. He wants you to feel like there is no plot line, and that's the point of this book. He's trying to do that to you because there really is not a whole lot of plotline for a while in this story. Probably maybe 400 pages. You're just kind of there in London with these characters and you're like, what is going on? Second thing you need to know is that there are two narrators. One is an omniscient narrator, which means that this narrator is not really in the story, but he can tell all the other characters' stories. The second narrator is Esther, and she is our domestic angel that can go into any house and fix it. And she's got the keys to the kingdom, and she is going to save London. And that's really what Charles Dickens was trying to do with Bleak House. He was trying to pose this question, can the domestic angel, what we have in our minds of being pious and pure and domestic and submissive, can she go in and fix the people of London? So that's really the overarching question in this novel. The thing about this novel that makes it hard is that there are probably, I want to say, over 100 characters. I'm not sure exactly how many characters, but I'm on chapter 50 and I'm still meeting characters. And so I've been mapping them out for my class. That's how many characters there are, peeps. It's gotten ridiculous. Remember this for a second, because I've got to tell you about Chancery. Chancery is the legal system in this book that puts everyone just kind of in this tizzy. Chancery essentially makes you own nothing. It's this legal system that comes in and it's messed up everyone's life. It's taking away property, it's taking away your legal rights, and Chancery just lasts forever and you're stuck in it and you can't get out of it. People start to either have a symptom of Chancery or they kind of try to defend themselves against Chancery, but everyone in Chancery is surrounded by papers and papers and papers, like there's copiers. It's just crazy. So the funny thing is my teacher, once I got to this point, he goes, guys, look around. Charles Dickens literally puts you in Chancery through this novel, which kind of blew my mind. He put me in Chancery, and that is what Charles Dickens is trying to do with this novel. He's trying to give you this feeling that you are in Chancery and you are not going to get out of it. You're documenting things, you're trying to claim space and put people in categories, and it gets crazy. Obviously, you can see the effects that Chancery has had on me thus far. I'm not Will. So let's talk about what Chancery has done to these characters. Since Chancery makes you own nothing, people either, like I said, have a symptom of it or they kind of react to it and try to defend against it. Characters either try to build rooms within rooms so they can feel like they claim a space, which is also kind of what you do in college. They claim their space and then they try to decorate it and they put pictures on the walls and they build cages and they have pets. They're trying to reclaim their individuality where they really don't have any individuality. When you try to claim your individuality in society, I don't know if you recognize this, but you become almost less of an individual. Everyone is putting posters and stuff on their dorm rooms. You're not being an individual, you're just doing what everyone has done since the beginning of time. That is Chancery, folks. That is Chancery. There's also an interesting juxtaposition of child versus adult in this novel because anyone that's been in the system and is now an adult, they're still a child. They still belong to the system and they rely on the system, which I think is also ironic because sometimes we rely on the system. We ask our government for things and expect the government to take care of us. And that's what Chancery is people get into the system and they don't need anything. They don't need to work because the system's going to take care of them. right? Another weird thing you'll find in this book is that the characters have these random outburst moments where they're trying to have like their own catchphrase, or some of the characters fall into like weird legal talk. If you want to read one of the worst proposals in the history of novels, number one still being Pride and Prejudice. That proposal between Mr. Collins and Elizabeth will always be one of the skeeziest ones in history. Bleak House is a definite second between Mr. Guppy and Esther. He comes to her and he presents it like a legal document, and she's like, who are you? Like, they met 10 minutes ago, and he's like, okay, let's sign this contract, let's get married. And she's like, no, I don't really want to. Another thing that the characters do as a reaction is a lot of them focus on charity work, but when you focus so much on charity work and you're not noticing things around you, the things crumble around you. There's Miss Jellyby, who's so focused on helping the children of Africa that her own children are like victims of domestic neglect. And then you have Mr. Jarndyce, who is literally collecting children around London. He literally like adopts all the children of London, or attempts to do so. Esther and Richard and Ada are all his wards, and it's like, how many wards does he have out there? It's this like idea that if I can't own anything, I'm just going to start collecting or giving things away. Also, a big part of this novel is there's a lot of disease and infection, and I think that Charles Dickens was just trying to point out that London was really nasty at the time, because people were literally throwing away their sewage into the streets, people throwing away all their garbage and the nastiness in the river, and then someone going into the river and getting water, and people just didn't understand at the time that illnesses weren't necessarily airborne as much as waterborne, and that's why like people got cholera and smallpox and stuff like that. So that's been really interesting in the novel as well. Essentially what Bleak House is Quirks accentuated because people are reacting to Chancery. That's what I've gotten from it thus far. So that is my discourse on Bleak House. I feel like I'm out of breath. Chancery also gets you out of breath. Tell me your thoughts if you've read Bleak House before, if I've made it sound somewhat interesting to you. I hope I have, and I'm really excited to see how the rest of this novel goes, because now it has turned into a murder mystery. It's finally got a good plot line going. So I'm excited to see what happens. Like I said, comment below and subscribe, and I will talk to you all really soon. Bye!